It is one of the most iconic movies of all time. It's probably one of the most iconic movies in the 90s. Well, I guess if it's of all time, it would include the 90s and that. But you think of the 90s, you think of Home Alone, you think of Terminator 2, you think of Die Hard 3. There's other movies that I'm probably forgetting in there, like Seven. But there's loads of movies for the 90s, man. But Home Alone, iconic, needs to get the credit it deserves. And here we are, guys, on Fog Entertainment here to review this movie. Of course, we date back to 1990. It was 33 years ago, and we follow the McAllisters. Bagarre. We have got the McAllister family, and they're all going on holiday. They are going to Paris. But the night before, pizza has to be ordered, and there's also a police officer. Looks like he's a nice police officer. Turns out he's not a nice police officer. He's being played by Big Joe Pesci. And Big Harry here, he's having a wee scope at, and he smiles at Kevin and shows off his golden tooth, which he should never have done. Right? Should never have done this. Buzz, who's Kevin's older brother, he actually eats all of Kevin's pizza, and Kevin's raging about this and starts a fight, gets milk all over the tickets, and then they end up throwing Kevin's ticket in the trash by accident, which means he won't be able to board the plane. But then that wouldn't have been much of an issue. Well, I mean, it would have been an issue, because even if he went with him to the airport, then he wouldn't have been able to board the flight. But Jesus Christ, man, I tell you what, absolute chaos here throughout in this movie. Absolutely mental. I didn't even know Larry Hankin was in this movie, the guy who was in Breaking Bad. Just goes to show you what's going on. But for me, I think Kevin McAllister just shown he's a bit of a spoiled brat, if we're being perfectly honest, because he could have just been like, oh, you know what, Buzz, that's a pretty dick move, you eating all my pizza, but I'm going to do, big man. I'm going to eat some more pizza. There was plenty of pizza to go around, Kevin, and you had the spite fucking, you had to absolutely spit the dummy. Disgraceful, Kev. Absolutely disgraceful, son. I'm just no having it. So that leaves us to, we've slept in, but Kevin does get sent up to the attic the previous night, so that's why he's forgotten about it. We get to the airport, it's all good, we're on the planes, we're like, I think we've forgotten something. I think I left the garage door open. And then we get to Paris, and it turns out we Kevin McAllister, he is not there. Holy shit, Big Kev is not there. It's all good night for Peter and Kate, and you can clearly see here Kate, played by Catherine O'Hara, she's more bothered on it for Peter, who's of course played by John Hurd, R.I.P. He was in Prison Break, he was in The Sopranos, he was in Home Alones. Guy was in quite a lot of movies, wasn't he? So R.I.P. to these guys. But then Harry and Marv, they're robbing more houses. They've of course got their wee signature card of leaving the taps on to flood the place. It's a calling card. Again, this would come back to bite them in the ass, because it means it just, drops them in every other crime. I like the cameos we've seen in this movie as well, from the likes of John Candy, who was called Gus, as we've seen Kate trying to get home, but she couldn't get a connecting flight to Chicago, where of course the McAllisters live. And it's funny in this movie because they hype this up as like a really safe neighbourhood here in Chicago. Oh, it's so quiet, nothing's going to happen. Is Chicago really a safe neighbourhood, especially these days? And here, maybe Chicago, maybe even in a shithole like Chicago, there is like the odd safe bit, the gated community, so to speak. But I mean, I wouldn't fancy my chances living in Chicago these days. But essentially, everyone knows what happens here. Kevin rips the pish at Big Harry and Marv, absolutely does them in. Of course, he does have a relationship with the old man. Damn it, I can't even remember what the old man's called. Marley, I believe. I believe the old man is called Marley. And Marley is not seeing his son, sadly, after they had a bit of a falling out. And Kevin's like, you need to get together. And then after all the shenanigans are over, and we have got this movie coming to an end, Kevin, of course, the spider, the glue, the bonnets, whatever you want to call it, man, everything has been absolutely destroyed and wrecked here. Absolutely. From Kevin, he's destroyed Marv, he's destroyed Harry, everything. The smackdown has been laid left, right and centre. This guy gets to reunite with his son and reunite with his daughter. A touching moment in the movie, just as Kevin gets to reunite with his family, and it's funny because like the cameo for John Candy wasn't exactly a massive cameo, but he basically spends the whole movie, the parts that he's in, trying to like relate to Kate, and it's all right, and then everything he says just makes her feel worse. But as soon as she gets home, the rest of the McAllisters get home, and it's like Jesus Christ, she's trekked all the way across the country and moving fans and planes to the wrong airports just for them to arrive like 2 minutes after her. Kind of funny. Harry and Marv get arrested, and it's happily ever after until a year from now, when of course the same thing happens. But guys, we'll be back very soon to review Home Alone 2. I might actually wait, to be honest. Might wait to Christmas. Do you want to see the 30 movies at Christmas? The 31 movies at Christmas? Who knows? But until next time, peace. I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10.